Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You must remember this, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracy.
Good evening.
This week we're talking about movies released between July 20th and July 26th. We have Caddyshack, Mr. Mom, National Lampoon's European Vacation, La Bamba, When Harry Met Sally, Seabiscuit, and A Home at the End of the World. This week we decided to see Caddyshack, Mr. Mom, La Bamba, Seabiscuit, and A Home at the End of the World to get a fresh look and discuss them in more detail. But let's talk about the other films first. First up is When Harry Met Sally, released July 21st, 1989, celebrating a 36th anniversary. Two friends start a complicated relationship that goes back and forth throughout the years as they navigate the ups and downs of friendship, love, and life. This is one of your favorite movies of all time, isn't it?
It's a favorite film of mine. I wouldn't say of all time. It's a favorite film that I see annually that I used to watch with Roxy, my sister, that every New Year's. And I shouldn't just say New Year's, but every sort of the season of Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, but usually New Year's.
But this movie, it's also, I would say, I don't really like romantic comedies that much, as you know, as you probably, if anybody's listened throughout the last few weeks, you know that I'm not really a big fan of romantic comedies. But this is one of the few romantic comedies that I can truly say that's one of my favorites that I've really enjoyed. It feels extremely natural. It hits all the right conversations in all the right places. It really does examine the relationship between men and women and if they can be friends and if they can't and how do they go back and forth. It's just really natural. It doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like a very interesting
dynamic
throughout the years that you're watching these people. It's like you know them. And that's what really makes everything shine. Is Billy Crystal and what's the actress's name? Meg Ryan. That's what I thought. It really, like, watching them together, it's lightning in a bottle. You can never recreate something like this again.
It's a fascinating relationship, not just between them, but between their friends as well. What's her name? Debbie Reynolds' daughter.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher's in it, and who that she ended up with. And it's just a really funny movie that I enjoy watching with Roxy, and I've always enjoyed watching it even after Roxy's passed. So we made it a tradition to watch it every year, and there's just some really funny moments that they captured throughout those decades that they showed them through the 70s and 80s and 90s. It's just really funny how they it was released in 89, so not 90s. So so I guess it was 60s, 70s, and 80s, I guess. It just seemed like they captured them growing up together and getting to know each other. So it was just really well done. Rob Reiner is a fantastic director.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's everybody knows this movie. If you don't know this movie, you should see this movie. It's a great movie. It's well written. I think is it Nora Ephron that wrote the play?
I believe so. Yes.
Or wrote the screenplay. Mm-hmm. So it's just very well done, and I just can't say enough about it. How wonderful, and the chemistry between Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal.
Yep, lightning in a bottle indeed. We also have National Lampoon's European Vacation, released July 26th, 1985, celebrating its 40th anniversary. The Griswold family can't catch a break as they win an all-expenses-paid vacation across Europe, but find themselves in the same bad luck streak as their trip to Wally World. Thieves, perverts, and an accidental infamy leave the family at odds with the world and each other. This was, I think, the first sequel to National Lampoon's Vacation. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure it is. Because there were other ones, too. There was also...
Christmas Vacation. I don't know if Christmas Vacation
was...
No, or was this the first?
Or was there was also Vegas Vacation, which I think was the last one.
That was way later.
Yeah, that was way later. I'm pretty sure this was
I think this was the first one, the first sequel.
Yeah, and then Christmas Vacation was the third. It was the second sequel, the third movie.
But anyway, be a pig.
Yes.
So
it was such a funny idea about how they
when we went to Europe, we kept saying we were the Griswolds.
Yes. This really is like, oh my gosh. Sequels usually don't do as well as the original, but the original is so timeless. It's so brilliantly, hilariously done. I mean, to me, it's the first truly good National Lampoon's movie. And the European Vacation, it was raunchier and it was crazier. It's still funny. It just, to me, sometimes the jokes don't hit as well as the original one, but they do hit quite well. They're actually, it's a very enjoyable, comedy.
My sister Roxy, even before we went to Italy with her together, she would say, "That's just like going to England. That's just like going to England." Like you could not get off that ramp.
Yeah, that famous London ramp, roundabout.
The roundabout.
She says you can't get out of.
She says you could not get off that ramp. You cannot get off that roundabout. Yep. And she laughed and laughed about all kinds of things that she saw that before we had gone to Italy, and England. She laughed and laughed. She says it was just like it, and how the British were always so nice and polite, and there was just always some other silly things that was like over there, and I just couldn't wait to go, and watching this reminded me of the fun times. We watched this over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Over and over and over. I can't get sick of watching it. It's just so fun. It's just this fun time. Eric Idle's in it from Monty Python.
Yeah, he's in it. He's very good in that too.
And so there's just a lot of fun in this movie. And the shocking scenes where it's just like a cute couple, and they start videotaping each other, doing risque things, and Clark videotapes the wife,
mm-hmm.
and then the video, and it comes out like it's a what do you call it?
I mean, it's a porno.
No, it's not a porno, but it's a underground film.
Yeah, like it's an underground pornographic film, and it's just more. It's more Griswold, shenanigans and antics.
I love it when they go see their relatives in Germany.
Oh my god!
And it's not really the relatives.
It's just people. Like, they don't even recognize them because they don't speak the same language as them.
And they go see them, and it's the wrong house, and they visit these old people.
And then when they leave, they were like, "Who the fuck were they?"
They didn't say that. They said, "Who the hell were they?" And they said, "Beats the shit out of me."
That was great. It's just good old fashioned Griswold family fun. You can't get any better with it. Really.
Clark's brushing his teeth out of the bedpan.
Oh my god, you're right. It's like we saw the movie just last week.
Okay, well, we're good. All right, these are the ones we haven't seen, but we did see them over and over.
We seen them a long time ago. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again, recently, but God, it's just so funny. We can go on and on. But let's move on. We're going to talk about the first movie that's the oldest one that we saw this week. It was Caddyshack, released July 25th, 1980. It was directed by Harold Ramis, who was one of the writers of Ghostbusters and many other great films, comedies around the 80s. It was also written by Ramis, along with Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother, and Doug Kenny, one of the original founders and creators of the National Lampoon's magazine, which led to the creation of National Lampoon's the vacation movies and everything in between.
And SNL?
Yes, and SNL as well. He pretty much had the idea of SNL before it was taken by Lorne Michaels, and I highly recommend, real quickly, to go check out the movie that was inspired by the events called A Stupid and Futile Gesture. It's on Netflix. It's a comedy. It's very funny, but it's also a biopic about how the National Lampoons got started. Don't watch it with anybody younger than 13 because it's extremely graphic and extremely dirty, but it's absolutely hilarious. You've got to see it. Definitely an adults-only movie. Anyway, Caddyshack was one of the first films, I believe, that really captured the National Lampoon's kind of vibe without being called that. So it's a country club filled with rich snobs. It's shaken up by a larger-than-life comedian, a smooth-talking golfer, and a devious gopher in this iconic comedy written by the National Lampoon magazine team. So I've seen this movie probably like 5, 6 times. I can't really count. I've seen it at least a handful of times. What about you?
I've seen it several times.
So
I saw it when it came out in the theater because I wanted to see Chevy Chase.
So that's what goes to the next question is like, who do you remember seeing it with?
I think it was with the theater group.
Was it really like talked about a lot, or
yes, it was. Everybody was waiting.
So it was advertised a ton.
Yes.
What was really? Was there any specific actor or thing that was really pointed out? I was like, you got to see this.
Chevy Chase.
It was Chevy Chase.
And Chevy Chase and Bill Murray were going to be in a film together, and it was when Bill Murray took over Chevy Chase's role on Saturday Night Live, it was talked about that they hated each other, but they were going to be in a film together, and so it was a big deal.
Well, why was it such a big deal that Bill Murray would replace Chevy Chase?
Because Chevy Chase, he was well loved, and it was rumored that either Chevy Chase was fired or Chevy Chase left. Or, there was rumors, different rumors were going around what really happened, And so when Bill Murray came and took his place, some people liked Bill Murray, some people didn't like Bill Murray. And so for them and they said they didn't like each other. And so when they played in a movie together, it was going to be a big deal to see how they played in this movie together.
So, since you've seen it in theaters, what do you remember was a big laugh experience? Like, what joke really came out that made everybody in the theater just erupt with laughter?
Well,
like, did any parts really stand out?
They laughed at that gopher, and I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing at the gopher. I thought the gopher was dumb, but I was different. People loved that little gopher and Bill Murray going after the gopher trying to kill the gopher. But I was not laughing at the gopher, and I didn't like Bill Murray's character in that. But I wanted just to see Chevy Chase.
I don't really laugh at the gopher that much anymore, but, I've seen the movie a few times. But I really do think, though, there is definitely a comedic aspect to it because it's just very much a Moby Dick and the White Whale situation with Ahab. And I think that's what draws
Jaws.
people. Or, yeah, you could say with Jaws and the three fishermen. It's just like it's the classic story of man versus beast. And I think that really has a lot of the humor brought together with it. It's like real life. You can't.
I was mainly laughing at Ronnie Dangerfield.
Oh, he was hilarious. His jokes are still, and that really shows to you, like, a lot of the jokes, I mean, if you see a movie several times, you're going to stop laughing at the jokes. But Rodney Dangerfield, I've seen this movie like 5 times at least, and his jokes are still funny. I still can't get over some of his quips. They're so funny.
I remember laughing at Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, he's great.
And I thought he was funny. And
you can tell it really brought the life of the party together. Even just the way he says things, it's just absolutely hysterical.
And I remember working summers at country clubs, and seeing those slimy, scuzzy country club people like Ted Knight played, and I would see him just like those people, and so.
Hey, the graveyard's 2 blocks that way, and take a left. Even, like, there's one part where he's on the boat, when they're on the boat and they're celebrating, Ted Knight's character is celebrating the new, like, his boat being out to sea for the first time, and then it cuts to Rodney Dangerfield on this big, huge yacht, and he looks at it with binoculars and looks at him and says, "Hey, it's my buddy!" And I just bust out laughing at that, because this delivery is hilarious. Pulls the boat around and drives it into the other boat by accident.
But even when they were in the golf shop and he was making fun of his pink hat.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Like before he buys it.
Yeah.
He says.
Oh
my God.
It's just one thing after another.
Well, like the funniest thing probably, the best way to introduce him is that he gets introduced because all these condos are being built next to the golf course, to the country club, and then it's revealed that he's the one that's building all these condos and stuff, and it's driving Ted Knight's character crazy. It's the perfect little rivalry between them too. But there are other actors that were in this movie too.
Oh, I just remembered one of the funniest things I loved was when the priest got hit by lightning and he kept playing during the rain. That was one of the scenes that I loved. He kept playing in the rain, and then he gets hit by lightning.
Oh my God, this is great.
So there was just some really great scenes.
Yep, and he keeps playing because every hole he's playing a great game.
He's playing the greatest game of his life.
Yes, and it's because the rain is causing the water, like the ball, to go into the hole with the water and everything.
He doesn't know. He just knows he's playing. No, it's not because of the rain. He just knows he's playing the greatest game of his life. That God's given him the greatest game of his life.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets hit by lightning.
And then he gets hit by lightning.
It's great. It's so funny. It's great. So then, also, the other actors that are in this movie are Michael O'Keefe, who plays the caddy, the main caddy, who is in this film, and it kind of centers around him a little bit in his story. Not only that, of course, we have Ted Knight, Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield. Bill Murray, of course, is the classic groundskeeper.
And there's Bill Murray's brother, who's the head of the caddies.
Yeah, he's the head of the caddies. He's the lead manager, and he looks so different compared to, like, even 5 years down the line.
He changed.
He changed a lot in 5 years, between 80 to 85.
And he's in a lot of films. Bill Murray's brother is in a lot of films and a lot of writing throughout the years.
And it did really well at the box office. It had a budget of $6 million. Ended up doing $60 million in the international. Nationally, it did like $40 million. But it's still, across the world, it made 10 times its budget, which is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, it was very well received.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I thought was interesting, though, is that looking back on it, it really... Harold Ramis talks about this in interviews. One of the big interviews he did with Caddyshack is that he said that, you know, when I look back at Caddyshack, I really look down on it because not in a way that I'm ashamed of it, but more I'm disappointed in myself. And that I wish there were so many other things I would have done better with that movie. And he's talking about how there's a lot of moments that are, while they're funny, they're very unscripted and they don't work well together with the story. And that it's very jumbled. There's just a bunch of things that happen in the film. And like seeing it in a more critical viewpoint, please. Seeing it in a more critical viewpoint, I really think that, I mean, he raises a great point. It's very funny, but that story is very hard to watch. Come on, Glory, what are you doing? Sorry, she wants attention today. Come on.
As always.
Yes. So, what did you feel when you...
I agree, but, I didn't go there to see Pride and Prejudice. I went to see Caddyshack. So I didn't expect much. So
no, and it's really important though to have those cryptic moments because without him, I mean, Rodney Dangerfield wouldn't have been as funny. So I really do see Harold Ramis' point, and I agree with it. But at the same time, look, you cannot. There's some things you just can't recreate. And, if there was a Caddyshack 2, but it was god awful. But if they had made an actual Caddyshack 2 with Harold Ramis in charge of it, I'm sure it would have been better. But, I appreciate Caddyshack for what it is. It has some faults, but I do appreciate it for what it is, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a cult film. Mm-hmm. People see it and laugh, and it was 1980. That's,
Oh, yeah. And Roger Ebert, talking about our little critic situation, when Siskel and Ebert did their review of it, Roger Ebert was pretty critical. He said that it had too much freedom to improvise and that unfortunately led some of the jokes to fall flat, which I agree with. I do agree with that. But he was pretty critical. He gave it 2.5 stars out of 4. And Gene Siskel liked it a little bit more. He thought it was funny enough, but some of the jokes did fall flat for him too. But he gave it a 3 out of 4.
Well,
but what would you give it?
I still give it a 3.
3 out of 5? Or
3 out of 5. And I'm being very critical.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I have the same feelings if I have it from 1980. I don't like the little gopher. I don't like that fake gopher, and I didn't like Bill Murray. I've never been a big fan of Bill Murray. I'm starting to finally have a little bit of kindness towards him in his old age. Mm-hmm. Finally. But I'm one of those that said, no one can replace Chevy Chase. No one.
No one can.
He was not replacing him. Okay? He was just another SNL
Cast member.
That's it.
Simple as that.
He wasn't replacing. They didn't like each other. Chevy left. He was not fired. Mm-hmm. He went on to make more money in movies, and that's the end of that story.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would give this probably a 3.5 out of 5. Some of the jokes do fall flat at times, but generally it's really funny. You cannot recreate a movie like this easily.
The acting and the comedic acting was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. The thing that kind of threw me off, that I'd say it's like the biggest critical issue with it, is the story about the caddy, and his issue was trying to get the scholarship and getting with that, and it was so stupid with that woman who was really promiscuous, ending up with him, and then like that Irish girl,
why are you even bringing that up?
Because it's part of the movie.
Okay, we don't care.
Okay, fine.
We don't care.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to Mr. Mom, released July 22nd, 1983. It was directed by Stan Dragotti. I hope I said that right. He also did a film called Love at First Bite, and it was written by John Hughes. After losing his job, Jack Butler becomes a stay-at-home dad, while his wife becomes the newest executive at an advertising agency. So, in case anybody hasn't had a chance to see this movie, stop this now and go watch it before we spoil it for you.
But anyway, Michael Keaton's in it, Terry Garr, Christopher Lloyd, and Jeffrey Tambor.
So, this is one of the funniest movies of the 80s. It's extremely well written.
It was very well marketed, too. This film was out and about. They were marketing this film. They always would show Michael Keaton holding up the baby in front of the dryer in the bathroom, mm-hmm. like drying its little bottom. I love this film.
This really is one of those sleeper hits. It reminds me a little bit of Raising Arizona, where you don't expect it to be that good based off of the idea or like from the cover, and then you see it and you're like, this is so funny and this is so good. Like, I cannot believe this got made because of how well produced and well taken care of it was. It really is something else. It's a very quintessential 80s film. It's got great social commentary, because it really talks about the relationship between not only husband and wife, but women in the workplace versus men in the workplace. It talks about how corporations and big companies ruin people's lives, like by furloughing Michael Keaton's character, Jack, even though he's doing a great job. And he points this out and he says, when he points out later in the movie, he says, so costs have increased with me being gone, and productivity's gotten lower with me being gone. So why am I still not, why haven't I come back yet? They furloughed him, so it's temporary layoffs. And he points this out to them, and they have nothing to say. And they're pointing out the crap that corporate America does to people. And this is back in the 80s.
Early 80s.
It still rings true today.
And it also talks about how your colleagues turn on you.
Oh my God, that's one of the best scenes in the movie too, where Christopher Lloyd and Jeffrey Tambor are in this very suddenly. They're the big stars, of course, but we didn't see that at the time.
It's desperation. It's such desperation to keep your job that you'll say and do anything, because jobs were so scarce. Especially, it was during when the overseas market was taking over the American market, mm-hmm. okay? And so they were desperate.
It really is. It's a movie that's kind of timeless, where you can come see it and you can relate to it today. And it's really funny. I think it really does a good job of showing stereotypes without being offensive about it. Yeah. It's extremely smart the way it's put together. I thoroughly enjoy this movie a lot. It did well in the box office, too. It had a budget of only $5 million. And Caddyshack had to have cost so much money to make, compared to this, which is 2, maybe 3 sets at the most. And they had a $5 million budget, and it made $64 million in the box office. That's huge.
But I'm telling you, they marketed it very smartly.
Mm-hmm.
Very smartly. They went after not just young people, okay? They went after mothers. And families, because it said Mr. Mom, mm-hmm. and they went after those mothers. But I wasn't a mother at the time,
and they were also,
and I wanted to see it because I thought it looked so funny.
Mm-hmm.
It looked so funny.
It really made fun of being a parent in the parental situations with picking up your kid and dropping them off. It made fun of the grocery store situations that would come with that too, and how complicated it could be even to buy like cheese.
And see, I saw Michael Keaton play in Night Shift with Henry Winkler, and I knew he was a great actor, and I said, I got to see this. I got to see him really expand his acting ability.
There's so many funny little moments in it.
And I love Terry Garr. I saw her in Frankenstein.
Oh man,
Young Frankenstein. So I saw her in other roles, and I knew that it was going to be a good movie. So anyway, it's a great movie. Go see it.
Absolutely, I could not recommend this movie enough. If I've really had, very critically, I really
the kids are great in it.
The kids are hilarious.
They're little. They're little kids.
Yeah, they're like 7 years old, and they're 4 years old. There's like one's a baby, of course, and they're killing it. They're absolutely killing it.
And even the little sub characters are good in it.
This is one of John Hughes' movies. He did this before, The Breakfast Club, and he's the one that had this idea to begin with too, where he was inspired by a friend of his. And he said, well, I have this idea about this guy and everything. And a friend of his said, you should write a screenplay about this. It's really funny. And he said, I don't know about it. And this is one of the first things that he did to get famous. Like, this is kind of his jumping off point. It led to The Breakfast Club.
Good in it.
Led to Home Alone. There's just a lot of great things to say about it. It shows that this is John Hughes at his best. And that's when he was just getting started, essentially.
It was really good.
So,
very well done.
What would you give it out of 5 stars?
5.
I would give it 5 stars too. I really cannot think of anything wrong with it. I really would not change a thing.
The music is good. The ladies of the neighborhood are good. You know, all the
the way he becomes obsessed with daytime television.
Oh my gosh, the soap opera is Young and the Restless.
Right, because he's watching it because he's at home and he has something else to do, and he's trying to drown out the noise of laundry and crap, and he ends up becoming obsessed with the show.
And he calls the vacuum cleaner, and to this day I still call my vacuum cleaner Jaws.
There's just a lot of great moments. You gotta see it. That's why I said, like, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it right now. Like, you gotta see it. It's fantastic. So, moving on, we're going to go talk about La Bamba, released on July 24th, 1987. This was directed by Luis Valdez, who did a play called Zoot Suits, which sounded very interesting. I want to check it out someday. And it was also written by him, too. Richie Valens' life is told in this gripping, realistic biopic. While trying to start his budding music career, Richard Valenzuela deals with a troubled half-brother, a passionate family, and the struggles of living in 1950s California. So you told me when we were going through the movies, I have to see this.
Yes,
you looked at me and said, you have to see this movie.
I said, you've got to see this movie. If you've never seen it, you've got to see it. It's an incredible movie.
And I'd never seen it before.
And I said, I said over the years, anytime I saw it on TV, I had to see it. I had to put it on. I had to see even bits and pieces of it if I couldn't watch it. It's just an incredible movie that just will grip you. It is really absolutely gripping. And
what is the first thing that I did after we finished watching the movie?
You cried. No, I'm just kidding. No, you actually ordered the movie.
Yeah, I bought the Criterion Collection remaster of it. Even though we just bought the library, we just rented out the library, quick DVD from the library, and I said, as soon as it was over, I thought, I gotta get this movie. I gotta buy it. Like, I cannot live in a world without having a DVD copy of this, at least a Blu-ray copy of this.
And I was afraid you were going to say, I'm a little bored.
Look, I may be...
You were so quiet watching it.
Because, I was studying it. You know, I may be young, but at the same time, I like good slow burns. And this was a good slow burn. It captures you immediately. But because it's very gripping, but it's... Where do I start with this? This is one of the best films I've ever seen from the 1980s. I say that from a director's standpoint. This film is so well directed and so well put together that it's something you should study in film schools because of how everything's put together so well. It grips you from the moment it starts, and it holds on to you, and it makes you want to see more until the very end. And then it lets you go as soon as the credits hit. It's like a roller coaster ride, except it doesn't thrill you. It just makes you think.
I never told you this. When this movie first came out, one of the first things I saw was on Good Morning America was the real Donna. And she must have been in her 40s.
Donna is the mother or one of the little sisters.
No.
Oh, yeah, like the girlfriend.
She was the girlfriend of Richie at the time. And she was so shy in that interview on Good Morning America. And she was still pretty. And it was hard for her to talk about Richie still. And to talk about him in that song he wrote about her. And I remember at the time thinking, wow, that was a long time ago. And it really wasn't that long ago when I think about it now. Then I thought, well, that was a long time ago. It was 30 years. And they released this 30 years after he died. And I didn't realize it then. Mm-hmm. They released it 30 years exactly after he had died. So she must have been about 46, 47 years old. And I thought then, oh, she must be really old.
Yeah. It was said that the family had watched it and had actually been somewhat a part of the filming process too. At the request of the director, like I said, if you want to, you can come see this stuff with it. We want to create a story that really springs true to Richie and his life and his story, at least that little bit of his life that led to his death. Well, and they really enjoyed it.
But the brother, the actor who played the older brother, which was the one I told you in the very beginning. I said, he's incredible in this.
Yeah, which is Esai Morales. I hope I said that right. He's still around. He's still acting to this day. I mean, the actors are Lou Diamond Phillips plays Richie. Esai Morales plays his brother, his half-brother. There's Rosanna DeSoto, Elizabeth Pena, and Danielle von Zernick, who plays the girlfriend, that Donna herself. But no, I really love this movie. I think this was incredibly well done. This is one of the examples of films that I not only enjoy as a viewer, but I enjoy as a filmmaker who have seen a lot of movies. And I've seen so many biopics. I like good biopics, and this is a great one, to the point where I even want to go back and see their life before the movie starts.
Yeah, when I watch this film, I feel like I can smell the food that they're cooking. I feel like I can smell the heat when they're out in the sun. It's so realistic.
Absolutely. Everything feels real. All the moments fit together so well. I really don't want to talk about the movie too much without going into spoilers with it, but man, I mean, Lou Diamond, all the actors are so incredibly well done. It's something so good. I had, like I said, I had to get a copy of this.
They were skinning that snake.
Oh my god! I was thinking, I'm still thinking, was that a real snake that they used?
It looked like,
or just a really good looking prosthetic prop.
It looked like a real snake.
Because it looked like like a real snake. They just grabbed and just skinned alive in front of, skinned alive, but they skinned in front. Yeah. Of a real camera.
They killed it, but it was...
It looked like a real snake they just skinned. Yeah. It's really, I mean, it's really something else. It really is.
And I give it a 5.
Yeah, I give it a 5 stars too. And it had a good budget to it. It's a relatively small budget of $6.5 million. And ended up doing $42 million in the box office, which actually that's pretty good for the standards of what they needed to as well. And
I'm surprised it didn't make more money than that, because it was very well marketed. I'm telling you, I can't believe it didn't make more than that.
I don't know.
I can't believe it didn't make more than
that. So Roger Ebert said that the film had good writing, well done acting, and a solid direction. He recommended it, but he did compare Richie's influence to Buddy Holly a lot. For some reason, the review that they did of the movie, they compared, especially Roger, he compared it a lot to the Buddy Holly Story movie.
Oh, nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing. Nothing.
I'm sorry, Roger. Listen, all respect to the dead. I just feel like it was kind of in poor taste to say that. These are two different movies. Yeah, it's about two people who happen to know each who died on the same plane. That does not mean you should compare those movies to each other.
Nothing.
It's I don't know, man. And there were two different directors. I don't know. It's really... No. You're just pulling, man. You're pulling. I just don't know why they kept comparing it to Buddy Holly's Story. I felt like...
Because they both were on the same tour.
That's just so rude to me. I feel like that's just they're part of the same tour. They died on the same plane, and I think that's a really bad coincidence. But it's the past. I can't tell Roger that was bad of you to do. Of course not. I can't do anything about that. I just thought it was silly. Gene Siskel, he did agree, and he emphasized the relationship between Richie and the rest of his family, especially the scenes compared to the performances. He loved the family scenes more than the performance scenes, and that's something that I really appreciate about it, too. I think the performance scenes were great, but the family scenes, that's the real meat and potatoes of this movie. It just brings it together. The chemistry is all there.
I think that they wanted to show more of Richie Valence's talent.
Yeah.
They think that they wish they had shown more of his talent.
I get that. I do. Because we deserve to see more of that. But I feel like I'd seen what I need to see when it comes to those performances, too. But, I thought it was an interesting point they were talking about, comparing a movie that was nearly 10 years old to one that came out. The Buddy Holly story came out in 1978. This came out in 1987. It's nearly 10 years old. Why are you comparing these movies together?
I don't know.
So anyway, I thought it was silly.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. We're going to move on to Seabiscuit, released July 25th, 2003. It's the story of the world-famous horse that's brought to life in this story, as the story is separated between Seabiscuit's trainer, jockey, and owner. So the movie splits off into 3 different origins of how Seabiscuit, how they all come together with Seabiscuit. So it talks about a little bit about the trainer, a little bit about the jockey that mainly trained Seabiscuit and rode him, and the owner who initially bought him and turned him into Seabiscuit as he is today, before it all centers together and then the plot stays in the same space of range of time.
I really think that this film was more of a historical piece about the Depression.
I think in some ways it definitely was like that. They did a good job of really teaching people and showing the truth about how the Depression rocked people, because their lives were so influenced by it. Everybody's lives were affected pretty severely by the Depression. And they really did a good job of showing that and narrating that with real images of what happened during that time period.
It really felt like a documentary.
Mm-hmm. It did.
The way that they had the narrator and everything, it felt like that guy that Ken Burns that does all those documentaries on PBS.
Absolutely. So the actors in this are Tobey Maguire, and this was 2003, so it's after Spider-Man. Jeff Bridges, Chris Cooper, Elizabeth Banks, which surprised me.
She looked older.
Yeah, she
was, and even though this is 22 years ago, looked older. They made her look older.
Yeah, she looks great nowadays too. She was barely.
But they made her look older.
They did, but even 20 years, she doesn't look that much different from 20 years ago. I'm pretty shocked.
Because the makeup, how they made her look older. Anyway, go ahead.
Also, Michael Angarano, who played the younger version of the jockey that Tobey Maguire plays, I wanted to point him out too. William H. Macy, Gary Stevens. So there's a lot of great actors in this, and this was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It didn't win, but it was nominated. People
I remember
really
it was very well received, but bits and pieces I remember watching, but for some reason I don't feel like I watched the whole thing. Somehow I don't think I went and saw it at the theater. I think I don't know why I didn't go see it. I don't know why. But
this was directed by Gary Ross, and it was also written by him too. He did Pleasantville, and more recently he did a movie called Ocean's 8, which is kind of a sequel, kind of its own thing to the Ocean's modern translation series itself. But this, it really was talked about a lot. It had an $87 million budget. It did $148 million at the box office, which honestly, for $87 million, that's not great. It's pretty low compared to it. But, hey.
I remember when this movie was coming out, my mother talked about that she remembered the horse Seabiscuit as a little girl or young girl.
Yeah, this was an incredibly influential horse that still is talked about and influenced to this day. It's done such incredible work.
I think it gave hope. I think this horse gave hope.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely an underdog story.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about the movie itself? How do you feel that it did? And, what really... This is your first time really seeing it, so how does it really stand out to you?
I don't know.
Leaves you at a loss for words.
Yeah, I'm perplexed by this movie.
I do think that it was overall, it was good. As we've talked about, I've watched a lot of biopics, and this is a very standard biopic story. And even though it is well told with the narration and everything, it's a biopic. Good things happen, bad things happen.
It goes off into too many different tangents, I feel.
It kind of overstays its welcome. And it also confuses you at first, too. Early on in the movie, Jeff Bridges' character, Jim Howard, is introduced. And they introduce him as somebody who owns a bike shop. But he's not getting any customers. The guy breaks down with his brand new Ford automobile. He tells him, I can fix it. And he spends the whole night taking the entire car apart and putting it back together and saying that he made improvements to it. And then it cuts to him in a Buick dealership talking about cars. And that sounded like to me...
It looked like to me
that he created a Buick because he was describing how he made the Ford Model T better. And it sounded like he made his own brand.
He was such a genius with motors and engines.
Right. And then it turns out, they reveal like 20 minutes later, he was just a salesman. But he was a really good salesman.
No, you had to look it up.
Yeah, I had to look it up. They talk about it later, but I had to look it up quickly.
You had to look it up.
Like, oh no, he was just one of the best salesmen in the business. I'm like, okay, well, you didn't explain that.
But he really was genius with he said, what did he do? What's he doing? I said, he took the whole thing apart.
I thought he took the entire thing apart. He didn't know how to put it back together. I thought he just destroyed this guy's car because he thought, I could fix it because he needed money.
But they always give Jeff Bridges these roles that these character roles of people that are weird.
Can you imagine somebody walking up to you and be like, I can fix your car, and then take the whole damn thing apart? And then you're like, what are you doing? That's what it was. That's what it was like to me. Like, what world are we living in? Oh, the 20s.
But then he explained to the guy, this was what you needed, and this is what was wrong, and this is what I would have done, and this is what you need, and then...
And that's what led him to become a salesman at Buick, but it really looked like they said... Like, they didn't tell anybody.
He had his own business. Why would you go work for someone else and sell cars when you could have your own your own business?
Right. So it didn't make any sense. Either way, he got his fortune from selling all these Buicks. And that's how he got into horses, because of the Depression hit. And that's it. Simple as that. So, like, the rest of the movie...
we don't know, really. Unless you looked it up.
Because they don't explain it. They really don't explain it. But I don't want to hear this guy's life story. Because we have
I don't want to talk about what really happened.
Yeah, because we have two other life stories to go over.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I was silent.
Look.
Because it's too complicated.
Yeah, it is.
It goes into too much other complicated stuff.
Down to the brass tacks, though.
I think it should have been a miniseries.
Yes, it should have been a miniseries. But down to the brass tacks, I do like the relationship between Tobey Maguire's character, Red Pollard, who's the jockey, and Seabiscuit, because they did a good job of correlating a similarity between the two. They're both injured. They both have an attitude with problem with the rest of the world. They feel like they have a grudge against the world. You could see how in the film they symbolize that with each other. They bring that personality. That's why they work so well together. I thought that was extremely well done. Even if it's not true, I thought it was extremely well done.
Oh, that was another thing, because the very beginning, it says loosely based.
Yeah, it says loosely based on a true story. So I'm like, okay, well...
And then you told me about...
I start making jokes saying, well, okay, the jockey's name isn't actually Red Pollard, it's Green Pollard.
Stop.
And the horse wasn't really a horse, it was a pony.
Stop. I'm ruining this now.
No.
Stop.
But that's... I do,
Because we've seen movies, and we go see them, and we're crying, and everything's terrible, and then we leave and we do our research, and nothing is like what they said. It's just a bunch of hooey.
Yes. I've seen it too many times.
So.
But I will say this, even though, let's not talk about if it's historically accurate or not. What matters to me is it didn't tell a good story. I think it told a pretty good story, and I give it like a 3 out of 5. I think it did fine. I think it did good. I think it had some good moments and some not so good moments.
Well, Red's hair sometimes was brown, and sometimes it was red. So I don't know.
That's where the loosely based on a true story comes in. So I thought it was fine. I'll give it a 3. What would you give it?
I give it the Russian judge gives it a 3.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Now I just want some biscuits. Let's just move on. So the last movie we want to talk about today.
Never did find out why his name was Seabiscuit.
No, that's crazy to me. The entire movie, they never mention why his name's Seabiscuit.
They never told us.
They just call him. What's his name? Seabiscuit. Okay, then they buy him.
And then shortened to Biscuit.
Then they also the jockey calls him Pops. What? Like what? Okay, whatever. I'm so done. Like I'm done with this movie. I almost want to give it a 2.
I'm sorry. I brought that up.
Oh my god! They never tell you why the damn horse was called Seabiscuit.
And then Biscuit, then Pops.
That's so stupid.
He's called Pops when he's trying to pop him to win the. I guess it's Pops when he's trying to pop him into
ridiculous.
Running.
Ridiculous.
That they did have great footage of the horses running.
Oh, it was beautiful. And then one of the movie cost $87 million. It looked like it was the 1930s, straight up. It looked like you were right there. It was incredible. Anyway, the last movie we're going to talk about, which I can't really talk about too much because you ended up seeing it. I didn't have a chance to. It's called Home at the End of the World. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really want to see it anyway. So I'm glad you got to see it. I didn't really care. But, we pointed it out. I'm glad you had the chance to see it. It was released July 23rd, 2004. It was directed by Michael Mayer, who did this man's done so much theater. So much theater. I'm extremely impressed. He's done Spring Awakening. He's done Funny Girl. He's done American Idiot, like the Broadway American Idiot. He's done so much theater of so many different genres. He's an incredibly well-done director, in my eyes. It was written by Michael Cunningham, who was the original author of the book that inspired this movie itself. A rebellious teen, a conservative closeted young man, and a young woman navigate the complex problems that come with relationships after agreeing to become open to each other. This movie stars Colin Farrell, Jonathan Glover, Robin Wright, and Sissy Spacek. Now, you saw this movie?
I saw this movie years ago with my sister Roxy because we were wanting to see every Colin Farrell movie we could find. And so we were on a quest to see Colin Farrell movies. And so she had found this movie and she said, let's watch this movie. So we watched it, and Colin's beautiful in the movie. And he's only in it towards the halfway through it, because the first half is about Colin as his character as a little kid, and then a teenager, and then he plays the adult, and he plays a bisexual man in the film, and it's a bizarre film. It's a very bizarre film.
Sort of coming of age in its own way, but at the same time.
It's a bizarre film. And I can tell you right now that it's probably based on a true story.
More likely than not. I mean, this is in this day and age, this definitely has happened to a lot of people. So it's just being told in the 2000s. From
what that happened to him, it's pretty bad.
Well, it had a $6.5 million budget.
I know. And
it did only $1.5 million at the box office, so it really wasn't that.
I don't think it was marketed at all.
It's probably one of those, like
independent film.
Independent festival films, which is totally fine.
Yeah. So anyway, I love what Colin did in it. Okay, he was beautiful in it. Mm-hmm. Robin Wright, bizarre, very bizarre in it. She almost looked like a cancer patient in it.
The what's funny about the cover art for the DVD looks nothing like her.
No,
it looks nothing like Robin Wright.
It's like they put somebody else's picture.
Yes, I never would have thought that was Robin Wright. If it did not have her name on that movie, I never would have noticed it was her.
And the character that she plays, I couldn't stand the woman, the character. I couldn't stand her. Could not stand the person that she played. She's almost like Forrest Gump's Jenny.
Oh, really? So
she's almost like that.
So does it seem like she was just trying to recreate Jenny?
No, but I mean, she's not the same character. No, it's just that she's almost like a person that I couldn't stand. She kept saying that she loved the one gay guy, and then she loved Colin, who was bisexual, and she got jealous that the other gay guy was really in love with Colin, and then when Colin came into the picture, he didn't love her anymore.
Now, I know Jonathan Glover, because I looked him up, I found out and this is for those who are unaware of him, he plays, I watched The Walking Dead, and in season 3, he plays the scientist that worked for the governor in the Walking Dead TV show. So, he was also in the show, he seemed kind of closeted, and kind of like less masculine compared to other male characters in that show. So, I thought it was kind of fitting, whether or not it's intentional or not, like I thought it was pretty fitting that it made sense to see him in this kind of role when I saw at least the cover art and what it was about too.
Okay, well anyways, so she ends up, it's a sad situation, and I didn't, and Sissy Spacek plays the mother of, I guess Jonathan Glover is the blonde guy?
Yeah, he was the one
okay.
the opposite of Colin Farrell.
Well, Sissy Spacek sort of looks like Jonathan, okay? And he plays the mother of him. And he's jealous of the love that Colin gets from all his relatives and from the Robin Wright. So it's a complicated movie, but it's not that complicated. I mean,
do you think it tells a good social commentary about these relationships?
No. No.
No.
No.
That's it, okay.
I just like seeing Colin.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't like the film. Okay. I don't like the film at all.
Well, with that in mind, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
A 2.
2.
But I like Colin.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really see any redeeming of this film. I don't know why they made this film. I don't like it at all. It's very sad, and it's very. I don't see any redeeming qualities of this film at all.
All right. Well, that covers all the movies that we saw this week. Sorry to end on a damper note, but I feel like we needed to take a chill pill from the Seabiscuit tirade that we just had. But this was a really good week for movies. I was like, I don't look for films and I don't look to talk about films that are like 5 stars. I like talking about even like bad movies, good movies, doesn't matter. I like talking about films in general. So I'm surprised how many good movies that we keep seeing over and over again. La Bamba, I mean, Mr. Mom, how often do we get 2 5-star movies? Like, it just shows to me that not only were we watching good movies, we're watching stuff that surprises us.
And let me clarify, I didn't remember A Home at the End of the World, what it was about. And I had to see it because I remember I saw it briefly with my sister. Mm-hmm. And that had been over,
It's 21 years ago.
Yeah, well, I don't remember when we saw it. I think it was, whenever we saw it, I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
So I think it's really interesting that we see these movies. Like, this is a week where we just had a bunch of 5 stars, and I, had a great time overall watching. Even like the 3 stars we enjoyed watching.
There was a huge list of films we didn't get to see.
Yeah, there were so many movies we wanted to see this week. But I'm glad we saw the amount that we got to see, and it just shows we'll get to have more chance to see the other films in the future.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. We look forward to next week already. Thank you, and good night.